I'm going to be honest with you guys. I just had the take of a lifetime. It was the best take that I've ever done on this, and I've done like 42, and I wasn't recording, which is incredibly embarrassing as a cinematographer. But, woo, let's try this again. Welcome to Where's the Call Sheet, a podcast all about the film industry hosted by me, Lucas. I'm a freelance cinematographer based out of Kansas City. I've got about 6 years experience, and in those 6 years, I have met and interacted and made friends with a lot of really cool people that have some really cool stories, both on set and off set, that I think need to be told. And that's the whole point of this whole thing. I want to have fun. I want to build a little bit of camaraderie, build a community, kind of get rid of some of this competition stigma stuff that's within the industry where people are super like competitive with each other. And like I said, just have a good time and talk about, something that we all love to do that beats the hell out of sitting at a desk for a 9-to-5 job. No offense to any of you that have a 9-to-5 job. But we've got a slate of a lot of really good interviews, guests, whatever the wording is. I'm still new to this podcast thing. But our first guest is going to be Parker, who is a good friend of mine. We met a couple months ago and instantly hit it off. But Parker is a cam op. He used to do massive shows like American Ninja Warrior and a bunch of various other like competition reality-based shows. And now he produces them as well. So he's going to be a great guest. He's got a lot of really cool insight. If you like what you see and you want to follow the page, new episodes are going to come out every Thursday. And if you want to be a guest on the show, shoot me a message. Would love, to talk to you guys. The couple of reels and stuff that I've posted, we have people both in Kansas City and beyond that want to be guests, which is like really cool, to be honest, because I thought that it was just going to be my grandma, my dad, and my mom watching this. If I was lucky, my sister, one of the two. But, so it's cool that this thing's kind of like weirdly getting a little bit of steam, even though it's not anything relative at all. I'm going to stop rambling. Back to the episode. We're going to talk to Parker. Like and subscribe, whatever I'm supposed to say at this point. I'm new to the podcast thing. Hopefully you like what you see. And cue cheesy transition.
Hey, dude.
Thanks, man, for stopping by. I appreciate you being willing to come out and do this.
It's great. Yeah, it took 20 minutes out of my night after my kid goes to sleep to come here. I think it's a great time to hang out.
Sweet. So instead of hearing your kid cry, you get to hear me talk, which is arguably worse, but I applaud you for coming out.
She's much more quieter than you. Actually, she's sleeping right now. Sleeps like a baby, so to speak. So it's all good. I love being here, though.
Nice. No, I'm excited. Well, yeah, no, I mean, I met you, a month or two ago?
Fuck.
Whatever it was. Recently, I met you recently.
Time flies. Yeah. Fall, summer.
Yeah, I mean, you just recently, well, not recently, COVID, 2 years ago or whatever, you moved to Kansas City. And that's why I wanted you to be on the show, is because you're newer to Kansas City, so you have an outer, view looking in. So, why did you come to Kansas City? Of all places, why here?
Cost of living, and my mother-in-law lives here. It really, the pandemic was happening. We thought the world was going to end, and I was living in Atlanta at the time with my partner, and we were like, holy crap, so everything's shut down. We have 10 years in reality TV, so, it doesn't matter if you're in LA or New York or someplace, it's not paying all the bills. Especially as a producer, you're going to be like, well, I need to eat, I need to do something. So I bought a C300 package. And when we moved to Kansas City, I was like, okay, I'll do the one-man band thing. I can shoot and I can produce, so let me do this kind of deal. But when we got here, we found a house with my mother-in-law that was like super affordable, just like it was in Atlanta. So I was like, okay, cool, we'll make this work. I'll shoot for History Channel. I'll drive wherever I need to go. And so it was like Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas. I mean, we went out to Salina. I think we talked about shooting Salina stuff.
Yeah, I shot the couple things in Salina too.
I went out from there for 90 day one time.
I think we missed each other by like 2 weeks because I was there for a couple.
You did the wedding, or you did before?
I was pre-wedding, and then I bailed to go on a different shoot. Not bailed. I told them I was leaving. Let's do another shoot, and then I think you popped in.
Yeah.
Somewhere close after that.
Yeah, I don't think they liked me. I didn't go back. But it was one of those things.
So it's totally fine.
I mean, it's one of those, who cares, But yeah, that sort of brought me to Kansas City. Prior to that, I was in LA, and we left LA because of cost of living, and we wanted to start a family, and it wasn't going to be in LA. Nothing against California, but it was just way too expensive.
Yeah. 2 miles is enough in California. Add a third one, and it's just...
Atlanta could have worked. Pandemic happened. We didn't know what the future was going to hold there. Like, literally, we thought, dropping like flies. Who knew? I got sick. So we came here. When we came here, though, I thought my career was over. Really? I didn't know what the scene was. I was still traveling for work with some company that's in New Jersey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
it's all freelance as hell. So hopefully they call back, or somebody in LA calls, or New York or whatever. But what is the drive to shoot in Kansas City? Because I'm here with a camera, but big whoop fuck.
Yeah, and you had a lot of experience too. It's not like you came in and was like, hey, I want to be a shooter now. You had shot a ton of shows and a ton of...
Sure, yeah. No, I mean, I sort of thought I would have been like a big fish in a little pond, but then when I got here, I was like, what if it's just a sandbox and there's no water? Right. And there's no fucking point. You know, like, what, because I had no knowledge of, I knew no one here, so I was like, okay, you know, we've always heard there's work everywhere, but I didn't know anything. I found the KC production crew page, and I was like, holy crap, and there was like, a good handful, a couple hundred people on there. I have no idea how many people are on there right now.
That's a lot of people. This is a good moment. Shout out to Travis Weirs. He's the one that actually set up that page. Travis is a really good resource.
Dude, I've heard his name get dropped a whole bunch of times. Like, I've seen where he's at, and I'm like, sweet. Like, he's one of those big fish. Like, that's totally...
Yeah, you guys, I'll definitely link you guys up. You guys need to talk.
He's going to be like, don't ever talk shit on Kansas City again.
Like, I hate you. Please leave.
No, I mean... I don't know, I thought it was going to be completely different. Because, I mean, in LA, I was used to sound stages. There's dozens of production companies. You hit people up on Facebook. You say, hey, I'm available and I'm hungry. And people are like, oh, are you available? Did you just roll off of this? Here you go.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't even charged my computer a second time before I'm on the next show. Like, and here it was like, oh, do you want to get into corn or soybeans?
What's your tractor experience?
Fuck, man. Like, yeah, I don't know, dude. It's terrifying.
I had somebody that hit me up, and, you know, they bring this big budget or whatever, and they're like, hey, this is what we're looking to do. But, like, the deal breaker is, how are you at rigging GoPros on oh, my gosh, what's the thing that harvests the crops?
A combine?
A combine. How good are you at rigging GoPros?
I learned what that is. I didn't know that.
That's so sad that I didn't know that, because I've done so many farm shoots. It's not even funny.
Yeah.
But I was like, so you have all this money, and like you're so worried about these GoPro shots that they didn't even use in the edit outside of like a 3-second little clip.
Yeah.
But it was just you're 100% right. That's what everyone outside of Kansas City thinks that it is. It's just a bunch of farm shoots, and then when you get here, you're like, oh crap, the rumors were like half true.
Dude, I was hitting up, I mean, but you know, you quick Google search, you're like, oh, production companies near me or something. There are some, you know, like it's a lot of, I guess, marketing or commercials or client-based videos, you know, so, okay, I'll email them my resume. I don't apply for any of that kind of stuff. I make stories. I do competition reality shows. Can't do something for Nabisco that's like, here's your product with a board, and like, I don't know what
I just did American Ninja Warrior. Please hire me to do your, what's a big one around here, Cerner commercial or whatever, Hallmark
I don't even know Cerner, apparently Hallmark's really big here.
Yeah, they have an in-house, so they,
so that would have been a place to apply.
It would have been a place to apply, yeah, but who knows? Man, I think you worked out pretty good though, but yeah, I mean, I was kind of the same way, and obviously I've been here for a while, but my background was in news, and so naturally when I told the news station to fuck off, reality TV and docs was the first thing to do. So like I instantly got on the road, started shooting these things because I had all this camera experience from working at the news station for as long as I did.
Really?
And so it was an easy transition, and then it was like, okay, I'm kind of done traveling. What's in Kansas City? And it's like day play reality shows, farm shoots, and then, or you get into the commercial world. And so I had to break into the commercial world, which I'm still not. I mean, I'm in, but I'm not at the same time. Like I don't shoot the same type. I don't shoot the studio commercials. I don't shoot the stuff where they're building these elaborate sets. I shoot the more doc styled commercials and whatnot. But that's what it is. There's a handful of commercials that come into town, you know, at a time, and then
from other places.
From other places.
Yeah.
They usually fly in their keys. Sometimes they don't, but most of the time they do. And then there's like day plays of like, hey, do you want to, like I just was telling you, I did the pickup B-roll shoots for that Netflix show. I did, you know, go up to Nebraska 2 days for whatever show, go down to this for this doc, and then, you know, the rest of it is you're gone for months on time traveling.
Yeah. Where'd you go? Domestic?
I mean, everywhere.
Okay.
I mean, I've been all over. I mean, we went to Italy for a shoot a couple years ago. We're going to Ireland next year for a shoot.
Yeah.
I've been to basically every state.
Yeah.
You know, working on this kind of stuff. I've done a lot of travel docs where, like the one with Warren Buffett, we were gone for a couple of weeks and we were all over the country.
Yeah, you forget where you're at.
Yeah, you forget where you're at, and you're like, oh, hey, I should probably call Brittany and let her know that I'm alive. Be like, hey, what's up? I haven't talked to you in 3 weeks.
When we were in Cincinnati, I went to the wrong hotel room.
Did you really?
I forgot where I was. Because remember we were in Lexington first.
Yeah.
And because we switched, I went back to my Lexington room number, and I was like, this isn't my room.
Was somebody in there?
No, my key wouldn't work. But I was like, what the fuck? And I was like, what floor am I on? what floor am I supposed to be on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, here, I'll one-up you on that one. So we went to Vegas July, June, somewhere like that. And production put us up in the Cosmo. And, you know, we stayed in the Cosmo, we're doing our shoot, doing all this kind of stuff. It was great. It was awesome. Bougie as hell. Fan fucking.
Is it bougie? I feel like that's like an old school.
I will never, ever, ever go to Vegas and not stay in the Cosmo ever again. Like, we'll look over at Brittany on this. She can attest to me on that. The Cosmo was the greatest hotel in the world. And I love it.
Yeah,
I love gambling, all that kind of stuff. But we
I
wanted
stayed in the penthouse at MGM Grand when I was shooting for the iHeartRadio Music Festival.
Yeah, well, Penthouse would probably
all the gear was with me, so they needed all the room, and I was like, "Fuck it!"
Like,
I
hell
slept
yeah.
in the bathtub one time.
Camera, you get this bed.
Oh yeah,
lenses, you
totally.
get
It was like
this
3
bed.
bedrooms. It was nuts. I had a balcony.
Yeah. No, if you're on the top couple of floors, it's insane because that's where the executive producer of the shoot that we were on, he was in the presidential whatever penthouse suite of the Cosmo, and it's like a full 360 or 180 of the strip. It was absolutely insane.
Yeah.
So we stayed there. It was for like 5 days, whatever it was. But then we wanted to stay a couple extra days, but like we're not going out of pocket to stay at the Cosmo. Mm-hmm. And so we got my mom had free rooms at Caesars.
Oh.
And so we were like, dope.
Down the road.
Oh, yeah, it was like right over. So we were like, dope, like free room, like let's go. So we had all our gear. We packed all our gear up.
Yeah.
Walked the half a block, whatever it was, to get to Caesars. I do the online check-in thing. It prints me out a card. It gives me a room number. We get on the elevator that's got like the you have to have the key to be able to get to the room. So
Sure.
we swipe it. We go to whatever floor, and we walk up to the door, and there's a do not disturb sign on it. And I was like, oh, like house cleaning just forgot to take it off, whatever. And I go up.
That's not for me.
I go up. Meh.
Yeah.
Meh. So we can't get in. So we go downstairs. There's a guy that's there helping people. He goes, you guys look lost. What's up? I'm like, yeah, I got this key. I printed it out. It let me in the elevator. Let me go upstairs, but it's not letting me in. He goes, all right, let me see. So he gets in the elevator with us. We go back up. We have all of our gear with us. Keep this in mind.
Oh, still just on the cart thing.
Yeah, we're just going up and down. And so we go onto the elevator. It lets us up to the floor. We get to the floor, gets to the door. It's not working. And he's like, this is weird. Can you show me your reservation? And so I pull out the reservation, whatever. He goes, this reservation is for the MGM Grand. Oh, you're at Caesar's Palace. And so like I got this text message from my mom to go to Caesar's, but it never said go to Caesar's, it said go to MGM Grand, but for some reason in my head, we were going to Caesar's. And so like we broke the Vegas system of how to get into rooms, I guess. Because we were right there. Like, you're not supposed to be able to get off if you don't have...
Yeah, you had a different hotel.
I had a completely different hotel, and I could get to the exact same number of room in the different hotels. So, I mean, if you want to stay in the penthouse of the Cosmo, maybe just buy the penthouse at whatever the cheapest one is and try to make your way up. Like, I don't know.
That's the way to get
like,
around
don't
it.
sue me, mob bosses of Las Vegas, but like, or suing is the least of my worries for mob bosses in Las Vegas.
Finding
But
bodies in Lake Mead now.
yeah,
so,
that was really well. That was the joke the whole time we were there. It was like, don't piss anybody off. You're going into the lake. And we're like, this is funny, not anymore. But no, you like when you're out of town a lot, it happens, and it just. You get brain dead, and you're not working like 20-hour days, but like there's travel, and like you're not getting a good night's sleep because you're not staying in your normal bed, and like people have kids and significant others and whatever that they're calling and staying up late to talk to. And I've been on stuff where I shoot and I need to edit a project, or like another client is messaging me like, hey, can you check this? And so like I wrap on this, but then I have to do like a 4-hour work on something else, or I'm like offloading media or whatever it is, and then you go to bed and it's off, whatever. So Kansas City is a weird market. I would love to see it become something different. I know they're doing a big push right now to get the film incentive.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I looked at the website a little bit. Like the KC Film and Visit KC have copy and pasted the same section.
Yeah, I think it's Film KC. That's my
word
dog
for
scratching
word.
the door. It's funny, but Film KC I think is part of Visit KC. Like I think they share the same building and they're owned by the same people. I believe.
Like Visit KC owns. Not that they own Film KC.
They're
Film
like the
KC
parent company or whatever, you want to call it. So that's probably why they copied and pasted it. But yeah, sorry. You went on there.
I didn't know what the film incentive was. It sounded like it. I read something like it was first come, first considered, and I didn't know what that meant. Right? Like, I mean, I've heard first come, first served before, but that sounds like, every man for himself in a way.
Right. It's just like, if we have money in the bank, you can take it, but if we don't have money, then like.
So what happens if there's like 3 different productions shooting here at the same time? Tough shit. Like.
Yeah, I mean, I have never applied for one. I don't know.
Yeah, I just wonder if commercials or other productions have used that before, even local.
Yeah, I mean, I know Queer Eye used it, and they were here for like 9 months or whatever it was, and I could be way wrong. I could be making this up, but it was, I believe, $50,000 tax write-off per episode. I could be wrong, and if I am wrong, please someone tell me.
Are there some prerequisites?
I'd have to deep dive into it further.
I'd love to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I would love to learn too, because I mean, I've taken advantage of incentives in other states, and Arkansas right now is killing it, and I think that they should be the mold.
It is?
So Arkansas has hey, we're having a meeting, right?
Yeah.
I pledge to do this movie here. This is the budget. This is where all the money's going to go. Okay, here's 30%. Arkansas just straight up is like, here's 30%. And then they go, if, I don't remember what the exact
But they're
number
looking
is.
at your budgets. They're looking at your schedules. Like, they got to.
Uncapped. To my knowledge, uncapped. Anybody that wants it, that's coming in and is going to generate revenue, gets 30% straight up. If you use enough, and I don't know what the threshold is, if you use enough local people, they bump it to 40%.
Oh.
So like I was shooting a different project that was taking advantage of the incentive at this museum that was down there, completely separate, and we're walking down the hall and Meg Ryan and a camera crew walk through because they were also shooting a feature there. Like Northwest Arkansas is blowing up right now. I'm calling it the mini Atlanta.
I drove through there a couple times.
Yeah.
By that I mean like there and then back.
Yeah.
That's twice.
1, 2.
Yeah, and it was to Fort Smith. So I did go through the Northwest corridor, I guess. There's like a golf course there.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's
like
very
Bentonville,
pretty,
where
yeah.
Walmart is, like they, it's
Everybody
beautiful.
told me about the Walmart. Like
Yeah.
that's where the first Walmart is.
Yeah, that's where their headquarters is. So they have Walmart gas stations.
Yeah.
Like when I saw my first Walmart gas station, I was like, holy crap! But everyone in the entire
Move over
town,
Costco.
city, $1.50 hot dogs. You'll never top that. But yeah, everyone in the city is employed by Walmart, and I can't like confirm this, but it seems like the government basically approached the Waltons and was like, hey, like we want to do this incentive thing. Can you throw some money to give us some infrastructure? And it looks like they did. Like, because I don't know a ton of people that live in Arkansas. They're flying everybody in. But I mean, if I was young and I was looking for a place to move, I'd be moving
Studios? Like what are they shooting?
everything. Their features, they're shooting docs, they're shooting reality, they're shooting everything in Arkansas right now. It's been doing this for like a year and a half. So it's slowly getting there, but it's starting to really take off. Like if I was 20 years old and I really want to do this, I've been PAing in Kansas City for a little bit, I'd move to Arkansas in 2 seconds.
Oh man,
Make
I don't
friends
want
with
to
the
call.
people
I don't want
and-
to call anybody out, but I saw this thing like a month ago.
God.
I'm totally about to call somebody out. I don't know who they are. I don't know who they are, and social media is a bitch now.
Hell yeah,
If
it
you
is.
say anything wrong, somebody could say something back.
Yeah.
And I can't believe you said this. And I don't know the clicks here.
Right.
I don't know anything. I don't know anything.
He knows nothing. I spent like 2 weeks with the dude. Trust me, he knows nothing.
No shit. But there was some kid that writes, and he goes, hey, I came here last year as a PA, and a lot of people have helped me, and I took some advice and stuff. So I now own my own grip van, and he lists off all of his gear that he has with photos. And some people were commenting back, oh, I've worked with, Joe Schmo, like he's great, all this stuff. And I wanted to comment so badly, what do they pay PAs now? How'd you buy a Sprinter van with all of this gear?
Yeah.
You PA'd for a year, and like the leap in bounds was like insane. And I was like, who's this kid? I love how he's like, I'm a grip.
Yeah.
I'm a juicer. I'm a gaffer.
He's whatever. So I know exactly
I'm a
who
whole
who you're talking about.
But
right
then
now.
like you look, I mean, and I didn't do a deep dive because I'm not going to get on the kid's case for it.
Right.
But I was like, he looks like he's 20, and I'm sort of like, dude, he hasn't fallen down yet or something. Like,
yeah.
it was just a big. It made me laugh.
Yeah.
I was like, I only just started. Now I'm running the place.
Yeah, no, I mean I know exactly who you're talking about, and
He's probably nice,
he's
too.
Young,
He's
he's a great dude.
Yeah.
He honestly probably will be a guest at some point in the show because he's the exact person that like I'm trying to get in on this kind of stuff because it's about community and like you see these things.
Well, he's not the dude that you were trying to get to PA.
No. That's Isaiah. He lives right next door actually. He actually.
I bet he's
texted
a
us.
great kid too.
Yeah, everyone's a great kid, but the way that the guy that you're talking about. He's just trying to make it work. Like he wants to make movies. He wants to be on sets. Like that's what he wants to do. So he was PAing for a while, and then I didn't tell him this, but I would have given him the same advice. And I'd give this advice to Isaiah, and I can say Isaiah's name because I'm cool with him. I'm not going to bash anybody. And the person we're talking about with this van is not a bad person either. If you're young, utilize zero-interest credit cards. I'm not saying going $100,000 in debt.
Oh man, just
But
go for it.
well, it's one of the things that I did. Like, so I left the news station. I needed a camera package. Well, like I was making $14 an hour at the news station, and then net 30s on the show. Like I didn't have any money. Like what was I supposed to do? So I went out. I got some 0% interest cards. It was like 0 interest for 15 months or whatever it was. I dropped. I think it was like 15 grand in my initial one. I bought a full camera package, whatever, and then
No
and then I
way.
paid the thing off as I went. Like I did
Yeah.
the math in my head. Like I knew what the rates were because the jobs I was doing, they were all using the same camera. So I was like, okay, I know that they're giving, like when the FS7 was the big camera, the C300. Like I knew that you could get $300 a day for the body, an extra $100 for the lens, you know, blah blah blah. It's about $500 when it was all said and done. So I was like, okay, I have to do 30 days of work to pay off this $15,000 package. Well, here's my schedule. I've got 45, whatever it is, days of work. I was like, this is a no-brainer. I'll go into debt now, pay it
You were
off
hired as an op right when you got it?
right away. Yeah,
No
yeah. So
shit.
I never PA'd, I never AC'd. Like
Yeah.
I PA'd one day in my entire life, and that was on American Idol when I was in college. And I actually ended up opping for like 30 minutes of it because the guy got sick. That I was supposed to like follow this guy around, make sure he didn't run into anybody, and he like felt weird or something like that. And something happened who actually with a girl that I actually went to high school with, so that's kind of why I felt confident enough to grab it because I was like, oh, I know these people. I don't want them to get screwed over. And so I grabbed the camera,
Sure.
opt, got in super trouble for doing that, but. You know, and then, you know, I graduated college, worked at the news station, and then instantly I was an op. Like I've opt and DP'd
Wow.
my entire life. I've never done anything else.
Yeah.
So.
But you see that that's lucky.
Oh, it's super
see-
lucky.
you
Oh
see
no,
it. Yeah,
I 100%
yeah.
know that it's lucky. But
Yeah.
even if you're like if you're a grip or a gaffer and you want to get stands and lights and stuff like that, like a sky panel rents for like $200 to $250 a day depending on what the job is. Aperture 300 is like $150. You know, when you look at the risk reward, and
So
you
much
go,
easier to get it now, too.
it's so much easier to get
Holy
it now. I mean,
crap.
even when I started, it was easy to get, but it's even easier now. And all the lights are basically the same now. Like, I used to kind of be a brand snob and was like, oh, Aperture, you suck. But then Aperture came out with a couple of really dope lights, and I was like, well, fuck, Aperture's better than the shit that I was putting it down for in the past. So, like, I have... One of my problems with the industry is that everyone wants to be a filmmaker and they have a creative brain. And they think, I have a camera, I'm going to make movies, I'm going to work on a Marvel movie, whatever.
Yeah. It's
But-
like 3 steps and then
Right,
the moon.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like I came in with like, so I want to be creative, but I understand business, and so I was like, okay, here's what I want to do, but I like, how do I get to where I want to go? It's not gear necessarily, but it's making enough money that you can like stay in the industry. Because I know people that are stupid talented but suck at the business side of stuff, and they no longer work in film. They might maybe make a short film every now and then, but for the most part, they're working a 9-to-5 job at like an insurance company or something, whatever, because they couldn't figure out the business side of it. To okay, how do I fund myself in the industry long enough that I can get the experience to get to that line? Like that's my mindset on stuff is that like, okay, this is where I'm at in my career. I'm very happy where I'm at with my career, but it's not like the end goal for me. I'm still young, so like, you know, like it's all part of the process and the journey and stuff like that. So every job I take and the business attitude I take is, okay, I get this amount of money, that's my cost of living is this, that's this much longer that I get to build the experience to hopefully
Do you
get
use movie
to that
magic?
point. Do I use movie magic?
Yeah, you know movie magic?
No, I have no idea what that
Oh
is.
my god, it's like there's there's like 2 sides to it, but it's all like line producer budgeting.
Oh, really?
And so you could literally plan your whole life
Oh, geez.
in that program. Yeah, you should,
Okay, well,
I
I'm
mean,
gonna have to get that now.
check it out. I mean, it sounds what you're describing is very responsible and like good.
Yeah.
Of you to like, do that kind of stuff. Because I mean, it sounds like you can have your money working for you, and
Well,
then
right.
you're just sort of like,
Well, and that's what I
Chilling.
did with all the rental house. So like I was
Yeah.
the op for a while, and then I'm basically only DPing now. And then it hit a point where I got a certain level of gear
Yeah.
that other people wanted, and so it's like, okay, well I had the Mini LF. I was like, oh, I have this one camera. Okay, well it's rented out on these days. I'm getting hit up, so I have
Yeah.
to rent a camera. So I'm not making any more money. I was like, well shit, did the same thing. How much money can I afford? Then I started adding more gear and more cameras and more cameras and more cameras, and it's all in the same bit that like passive income is one fantastic because I'm huge on the work-life balance. Like I don't want to work for the rest of my life. I want to enjoy my life. So like passive income when I'm not working, but then also I'm not going to lose money because rental is out, but I also get hit up to do whatever job.
yeah, you don't want to pass
Right.
that
So I
up.
built the camera house, and like we don't have like a location or anything. It's literally just me, and then I have it at a couple of rental houses like throughout the country that just have stuff that like they know, and I'll ship it wherever it needs to go. But it's all in that same concept of like, okay, use a 0 interest credit cards because I'm here, but I want to be here. So how do I get there? So like everything is me making my way up because I would love to get to the point in my career, and that's kind of what I'm doing with the sports car documentary, that I work on like 1 or 2 massive projects that I like handpick and like instead of doing the like day playing on 90 Day Fiance. Or like day playing on
man.
this random commercial, and like I did Chipotle commercials and stuff like that, and like it paid great, but like at the end of the day, it was boring if we're being honest. So like I want to get to the point where I'm working on something that I want to work on constantly.
So are you your own boss? Are you waiting for somebody to hire you or commission you?
Either or. I mean, I would love to be able to run the whole production myself, and I've pitched stuff, and I've in contract talks and stuff like that with a couple of projects. But if someone approached me, I was like, "Hey, will you DP shoot this?" I'm not going to say no. But like it's all just taking advantage of opportunities, and like I got lucky when I first started, and so I took advantage of that opportunity, and that helped me get wherever. And so I like to do that for other people. So I do like to be, the one running the show. Like I don't really care about resumes when I'm hiring people. I care more about who they are as a person and their attitude and like just how I think that they'll go. Yeah, like I mean, there's a baseline of like, hey, you have to be good enough to do this. But like, I'm gonna call her out on this. But like when Brittany first started shooting with me, she was really nervous, and she was like, I don't think I can handle this. I don't know how to do this. And I was like I know you can.
Yeah.
You don't have the experience
Cameras
for it.
can be intimidating.
They can be. No, they totally can, and it was warranted. I might not have handled it.
It's like a lion and you're holding it.
I might not have handled it correctly, but like I was like, no, like I'm not hiring someone else. We're hiring you on the first job we did however many years ago. And then she like grabbed the camera and she goes, I really thought that your work was really hard, and now I found out it's really easy. So we're gonna do this all the time.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, I mean, and she was 100%. Brittany,
it is
over
easy.
Here. It is easy. Like it's really having the right attitude and then just understanding how to shoot.
It's also an intimidating environment too. Like when I first got in, people were shooting with like big fucking cameras, looked like guns. And like, remember the guns from like Aliens?
Yeah.
Like they're massive. Like they load things from the top and shit.
Yeah.
That's what I thought these cameras were in a way. Because like, I mean, I shot skate videos with like a little camera, but you had to like throw it, and like some of these guys had a brace.
Yeah, they had like the back.
What are you doing,
like
dude? Yeah, like it's massive. And like cam ops are like the jocks on set. Like they walk through and you're doing this or whatever, and like people are, there they are.
Like looking back over their shoulder, like, hey, what's up?
Yeah, it's this weird set vibe thing. Like and so as far as like the friends that I had in LA that were dudes, like as we were climbing up as PA, it was like, okay, as a PA, you can have like different routes you can go to. Because so far, everybody that's up here, other crew departments, whatever, hate you. So this is where you're at. Yeah. You're just gonna be, you lift heavy thing and you're like, okay, and then you move something. Or go get this, okay, I go get it.
Right.
And then when you're like, okay, I want to be vocal and start voicing where I want to go. You can go a few different, I mean, I knew people that went the audio route, and then all they do is travel now. They're super happy, have a whole family. And I'm like, damn, I never saw you again.
Yeah, you said peace.
Fuck, it worked. Like, congrats.
Yeah.
A lot of people wanted to go camera because it was like, it looks cool. It's like, totally thing. Looks cool. Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm trying to compare it to like something else in real life, but it's like, the Camaro of a fucking apartment or whatever. And then some people were going producing, and it was like, that's it. Like art, you had to like trip and fall into art somehow, and then it's like, I couldn't get out. I'm covered in glitter now. Glue and tape, I paint walls.
My legs are stuck.
I dig it. I work with tools. No one talks to me, and I don't want to be talked to, know, and I love the art dogs, but it's just one of those other routes. So it's interesting of like hearing to go back, with the kids out here and like jumping in from college news. Reality is where you went?
Yeah, basically.
And kid. Yeah, like it's I'm freaking jealous in a way. 'Cause were there people that you looked up to, like any mentors that you had, or who told you, hey, you should get this reality gig? How did that happen?
So how it happened was I worked at the news station, and there were some political things that were happening at the news station. Basically, I was up for a promotion to move to the commercial department because I hated news. It was depressing. It sucked. I was sitting at homicides and.
What station was this?
I was at 40.
You can't say it? Or?
I don't give a shit. I was at 41 Action News. All the people that had worked there, that I had problems with, no longer work there. If that tells you anything about the landscape of the news station as a whole. But my last 3 days at the news station, this kid in Lee Summit committed suicide by cop. The thing where he went out with a fake gun and the cop killed him, but he wanted to kill himself. So it's the whole thing. Not to get dark, but so day one, hey, go report on it. Go try to talk to this mother. So like. Do it. All the news stations are there. There was a reporter. We went up. Mother's obviously distraught.
Are you like with a microphone? Or
no, I had a reporter with me, so I had a camera. So I was there. Don't want to talk to anybody. We all go in our car. We have to sit out there forever long. But then eventually people start leaving. My dogs are going to break my door down again. And then went home for the day. Come back into work. Like, all right, what's my job today? Because doing stuff like that for one day was not out of the norm. Like I did that all the time.
Okay.
Day 2, hey, we really need a quote from this lady. Can you go? Didn't send a reporter with me this time. They just wanted me to go. So I show up. There's other cameramen that are there.
With like a notepad.
Basically.
Fucking.
You know, knocked on the door, you know, didn't get an answer, went back to the car. I didn't push. Like I felt so bad that I had to go there in the first place. Leave, go home, come back. Day 3,
I'm not driving to Lee Summit 3 days in a row, people.
and guess what? I drove to Lee Summit. Our cars were tracked. So like they knew where we were. So I pulled up to the house.
Yeah.
No other news stations were there, and I didn't even stop the car. I just kept going. And I was pissed. I didn't know what to do. I was calling her and Brittany, and I was like, I don't want to be here anymore. Like, I hate this job. Like, I shouldn't be here. I should be in the commercial department in the first place. They're making me do this crap I don't want to do. Like, this is not the environment I want to work in. And subsequently, someone who had worked in the commercial department but had since quit recommended me to do a BTS job for a feature film with a bunch of YouTubers up in St. Joe, which is like an hour north. And I was like, well, I got a full-time job. Like, you know, like I'm making $14 an hour, which is more money than I'd ever made in my entire life. So I thought I was rich as shit. Was like, you know, I can't quit. And he goes, well, you should talk to the producer at least. I know you're not happy at your job. Just talk to him. So I was like, all right, cool. So he calls me like a half an hour later, and he goes, hey, we're shooting this thing. It was like 19 days, 13 days, something like that. It was 3 weeks of work. We think you'd be perfect for it. We just need you to get BTS stuff. Your news background will be perfect because it's literally just B-roll and pictures of these YouTubers doing shit. And I was like, movie had like a $3 million budget. Like,
was it an EPK? Were you making
no, it was, well, no. It was literally just BTS for these influencers basically to use on their social platforms. So I would
shoot it on what?
Whatever
camera
I wanted to. They didn't care. They literally, some of it was even on a phone. Like I would shoot, like Christian Del Grosso was one of the guys that was in the movie, and I would just shoot him.
Yeah.
He's a funny dude on the internet.
Yeah.
And it was just following him around.
One of the TikTokers.
Yeah, basically following him around doing stupid shit, and then he had an editor that edited all the stuff. Like it was the best job anyways. But anyway, so he called me and I was like, nah, man, like I got a full-time job. Like it sounds great, but like I can't commit to that. He goes, well, how much are you making? And I was like, well, I was like, $14 an hour. And he goes, well, I'll give you $5,000 for the work. And I did some quick math in my head.
For 3 weeks?
For 3 weeks. And I was like, wait, you'll give me more money than multiple months of me working and talking to people I don't want to talk to and shouldn't be talked to, in my personal opinion, for getting behind the scenes footage of a YouTuber? Yeah, I quit on spot. I literally walked into the office, I dropped all my shit, I left my shift early, and I sent an email. Because I couldn't go into them because there was a lot of things going down that, like, they weren't readily available. You could just go walk in and say, hey, like, I'm quitting. It was, you know, so I went home, I sent my email, and I never thought twice about it ever again. And then I went and did that job, and that job had X amount of producers and stuff. And then on the last day of the job, one of the producers was going to Wichita afterwards to shoot a ghost hunting show with Karamo Brown. Give you a full circle here moment here in a second. Karamo Brown was the host. Do you want to come B-Cam? Like, fuck yeah, I want to come B-Cam. So I did like 2 weeks on that. And then that led to this, and then I get a call for Queer Eye. Or I applied for Queer Eye because everyone in Kansas City applied for Queer Eye. I had nowhere near the experience they were looking for. I didn't have the connections because they were looking for Kansas City people. And, you know, I was out.
A lot of people got brought in, right?
No, it was all Kansas City. Or the keys were not Kansas City, but everyone else, like Cam Ops down, was all Kansas City.
Oh, like head of departments.
Yeah, had like our DP director was LA. Our 2 Cam Ops outside of me were not locally, but everybody else was for the most part local. So it was probably like 50-50, maybe 60-40.
I knew a few people that did that. In Atlanta, when I was in Atlanta, they
because they started there.
Yeah, they came back to Atlanta, and you know I was working with them on like a bunch of different other shows, and they all like, oh yeah, I've been doing all the Queer Eyes.
Yeah,
I was like, oh, like, we went to Kansas City. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's dope.
My girlfriend's from there.
Cool, bro. Did you have some barbecue while you were out there?
No, totally. Yeah,
that's all that shit is.
Like, a year later, I lived there. I'm like, fuck, I gotta call those guys again.
God damn it, now I gotta call them and
see
what's going on.
You fucking work.
Yeah, I need money.
Queer Eye should come back.
I didn't know who the cast was. We're at the welcome party. Like, they rented out some bar downtown and stuff like that. And out of nowhere, Karamo Brown, my second, I guess, technically, freelance job. Lucas, like this, like 9 months.
Who's Karamo Brown? Sorry,
he was the host of the Wichita show I did right after.
The ghost hunting one?
Yeah, the ghost hunting one.
Is he in Queer Eye?
He's one of the guys in Queer Eye.
No kidding.
And it was like this full circle moment that I was like, oh, like I'm totally meant to have this job. Like Karamo's here, like I got out, like we're cool
with each other. He knew my name.
He knew my name. It was
solid.
It was like the weirdest experience in the world because he had no reason to remember. I was a B-Cam op for, you know, whatever. And I'm glad that I did. It was a roller coaster of emotions.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the greatest credit that I've ever gotten because it's basically got me any job within the.
Was that the biggest show
ever that I've done?
Yeah.
At
How many
the time?
cameras?
3 cams, 5 cast.
Just 3 cameras?
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah, we were on shoulder for like 10 hours.
You'd have one B-roll day a week or one.
Yeah, every
2 weeks?
every Monday we would bombard the person that we were dealing with, and then the rest of the day we would shoot B-roll, and then Tuesday through Friday we were doing show stuff.
That's super easy.
And then we had a couple of random days that were like, oh, we need B-roll, let's just go do it. So like we would all go out and do B-roll and stuff like that. So that springboarded everything for me because at that point, all I got to say is I worked on Queer Eye, and they went, oh, okay, here's the job.
That's awesome. Yeah, everybody watched it, man.
Yeah, no, it's huge.
Yeah.
Like it was the perfect storm.
I didn't watch
timing.
it. I should have fucking watched it.
It's good.
I barely watch any of the shit that I've done, or not that I'm not trying to support. I should support. I should buy cable to like even support people that are still working. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
But
I
I
don't have cable
just
either, so I don't
don't.
feel too
I
bad.
play games on my phone and I watch Game of Thrones and reruns of Breaking Bad.
I really
and
like
that's what I
memes.
do.
Yeah.
And yeah, exactly.
You should definitely watch the Kansas City episodes. Not here, we'll pull it back to the incentive because I do know for a fact because I talked to the people that brought it to Kansas City that the incentive was a big reason why they came to Kansas City. Because they used the incentive in Georgia, obviously, and then they were looking for another place, and it was down between Ohio and Kansas City.
What's the production company? Because I know it's Netflix is the
Scout.
distributor,
It's
but it's
Netflix, ITV, Scout Productions. So Scout Productions
Gotcha,
is
yeah.
the
ITV and
creators,
ITV, yeah.
under ITV's umbrella. They had, I can't remember the exact thing, but they wanted to go to Ohio because someone on that team had a connection to Ohio. And then someone else wanted to come to Kansas City. They narrowed it down to the 2 of those. And Kansas City, it's not a big incentive, but they had something. And that's why they chose Kansas City over Ohio. And they loved it.
one thing I think is
supposedly.
It's really interesting about Kansas City is there's no closest big city to Kansas City.
Now you got Chicago, Dallas, but those are both 8-ish hours. St. Louis, I wouldn't call
That's
that
a
big.
state or 2 away.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not even neighboring
No.
cities. You know, I went up to Omaha because Very Locals, like a Midwest hub. I guess I sort of in the inception I think it started there. Went up there and some people were talking about like how is it in Kansas City? It's pretty cool. And they like give me and I'm like,
The big city.
what do you mean? Like, and somebody was saying like, my girlfriend's had a bachelor party and that's where they go for bachelor parties is go down to Kansas City. It's like a big deal. I'm like, wow.
Yeah, Kansas City is like, of the Midlands, Kansas City is...
Yeah, you like the low country shit?
Yeah.
The lowlands?
Dude, I laughed so hard
Did
at
you like that?
I thought it was fucking hilarious. Like
They call it that.
Do they really?
So for
that makes it a
sure,
little
this
less
legitimate.
cool, but-
No, I think it legitimizes the Midlands, though.
Yeah. Well, here, let's explain the Midlands so people can kind of understand. So when I worked with Parker, introduced himself, and he's like, you guys are from the Midlands. And we were like, what the fuck is the Midlands? So what is the Midlands, Parker?
The Midlands. So you look at the West Coast, you look at the East Coast. They say that the East or the West. You know what? Actually, I don't know how to explain it other than this guy we worked with in Manchester. No, we didn't work with him. He just showed up at the bar. We knew him through people.
This random townie.
Yeah, great guy. But he was like, why do you guys call it the Midwest when it's not actually West? And I was like, you're right, it's not West, it's just the middle. He's like, just call it the middle, like the Midlands. It's the middle land, it's the Midlands. And I like the argument of that it's not the Midwest because I get very confused by like, there is the Mideast in the U.S. Chicago to like Pennsylvania. That's the East.
You call that the Mid-East?
For sure. The Midwest.
Oh, get off my podcast. Like, that sounds
Can you
horrible.
put a map
What are we
right here?
talking
Can you
about?
put a map right here?
Yeah, here,
we
we'll
can explain?
superimpose a map
So
right
put
here.
a map right here.
This
So,
is America.
yeah.
For scale,
You like
here's
Chicago-ish
Texas.
or fuck. All right, I'm really off with this map.
Oh
now.
shit! Hang on, let's turn the map. This is supposed to be.
Flip it around. No, but so yeah, I did say the Midlands to you guys, and you
Yeah.
guys liked it. But
I mean, it
have you
stuck
been
instantly.
using it?
Yeah,
Remember
we use it all the time.
we went to that bar, that Irish
Yeah, it
Scottish
was really
bar,
good actually.
And I was like, hey, do you like would you call it the Midlands? He's like, that sounds way better than the Midwest.
The server
I think
guy
people
was.
would. Yeah,
I think it'll catch on. So where you and I differ is I think the Midlands is like Kansas City, Nebraska, or like the surrounding, like our little bubble right here, like Tennessee, Ohio, that kind of stuff. Indiana can be, Tennessee can be their own little thing. I think the Midlands is like really like the heartland, like the little, like the 4-state here, Colorado, Nebraska, Missouri, Kansas.
You're going to put
Oklahoma.
Colorado in the Midlands. That's not like mountain zone.
You're right. Get rid of. They're not in the. That's its own thing. That's
But
its own
yeah, that's a weird thing.
But
they
it
got
is
going
kind
on.
of because like most of Colorado is the Midlands up until you hit Denver, but that's still like a 2-hour drive in from the border to
Is it?
get to the mountains.
Okay.
But yeah, like everyone's like, oh yeah, we're so close to Colorado. You know, it's like, yeah, but like you're 6 hours in Kansas, 2 hours in the middle of Colorado, which is just Kansas West, and then you hit the mountains.
Yeah.
And so it's
What are people doing out there?
smoking a lot of weed and snowboarding is what they're doing.
Yeah.
We love Colorado. Colorado's fantastic.
Yeah, no,
but
I dig it.
The drive sucks.
I haven't done the drive east going in.
Okay.
I guess going west.
So that'd be west.
Across the Midlands.
Across the Midlands. Yeah. But no, so yeah, sidetrack on that was the Midlands. So anyone watching this, the Midlands is definitely something that we should kick on. And everyone that we talked to, like our neighbors, we went to their...
Say the Midlands?
Yeah, we're like, hey, like, Kansas the Midlands now. Don't ask questions. They're from Arizona, so like, just do it. Just do it. It's just called the Midlands.
I mean, it is the center of the Midlands.
It 100% makes sense.
Yeah.
And they should honestly put that on the promotional packets for why Kansas City needs a film incentive, because we're in the middle of the country. I've been saying this for years. Like, if I had $10 million, what I would do is I would level the West Bottoms, and I would build a soundstage, and I would build a bridge that would attach to the downtown airport. For, you know, you want to fly in Jennifer Aniston. Jennifer Aniston flies in, she shoots her shit, gets on the plane, leaves. She's out in 2 hours. Like, whatever it is. It's a proximity thing. You're really close to Kansas City. You get to Overland Park. You can get to Northland. You can get to anywhere like that. $10 million, I did the math one day, is all it would take to get it started.
So sound stages and things
sound stages, like all the things to make it a real hub. Because a lot of people want to go, oh, and we need an incentive to bring the shoots here, but we can't do it. We need the money from the incentive to like build the infrastructure. Well, I personally think that we need to build the infrastructure, make it super appealing for people to want to come here, and then add the incentive on top of it that like really makes them want to come here, and like have like events here, like, you know, hey, who wants to come speak? Hey, who wants to come, you know, tour our facilities? Like, yeah, blah blah blah.
There is. I was trying to look at the with the film KC and the Visit KC thing. I was like, well, what's the state? What's the state's thing? Does the state of Missouri have it? And it's abbreviated something like Show Me or FOMO, Filmo or something like that.
It's like MAMA or something like that.
There we go. It's one of those like abbreviation ones.
Yeah. And to give a plug while we're talking about MAMA, on November 21st, they're doing a Missouri Film Incentive like meetup thing that I have registered to go to.
Oh, cool.
So I don't know if you have any interest going or anything.
When is it?
November 21st, I believe. I think it's a Monday.
Like fucking like next week or something.
Yeah, it's very soon.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's one of those that we're not going to get an incentive unless a shit ton of people start showing up to stuff like this. So I think that people need to start, you know, getting up there.
What if we should make a short with all the best locations possible?
Yeah.
Just as scenes. And we'll call it the Midlands.
Call it the Midlands. Welcome to the Midlands.
It'll be kind of like GTA, but in Kansas City, and we'll never say.
And way cooler.
Yeah.
Way fucking cooler.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. We could just snore cam the whole thing. We can put it on you because you're 6'8". You get a nice vantage point of everything.
Yeah.
You can just walk around Kansas City and be like, look, you can film here. You can film here. You can film here. You can film here.
After I moved, just seeing, like, I'll drive across Shoto and the other, there's like 9 bridges here. Shoto Traffic Way? You haven't done this? Oh, you gotta go Shoto. You gotta go Shoto.
You have all the nicknames for everything. I love it.
Is it not called Shoto Traffic Way?
It is, but like I've never heard someone call it the Shoto. That's probably the wrong pronunciation.
I say the Shoto. That's some California
Shoto.
shit. Yeah, you say the.
California.
I call it the Crown.
It's
the
just,
Crown Center.
Listen, man, it's just Facebook. Not drop the. Just Facebook.
Well, that was from the movie. I remember that shit.
Justin Timberlake, great line.
Going across Shoto, the city skyline of Kansas City is super pretty. There's some parts of the day where the sun will hit like this. All the reflections from the buildings and stuff, and like it's awesome. It's like such a cool, just freaking drone shot that shit. Like on everything. Like that's your opening Michael Bay shot. Like it's going along and then pans up. Oh.
Yeah. No, my dream.
Stupid.
So like everyone shoots the skyline from the south and from the east because when it sets, the sun looks really pretty and like you get a nice little flare and like the shadows, negative
where's
side.
your spots?
I-29 South. When we get an incentive. And when a Michael Bay level Transformers movie comes in,
I-29 South going in.
I-29 South with a freaking Ukraine, you know, falling behind or starting up, I guess, high, coming down in on a car chase or some shit like that, and then all of a sudden Optimus Prime, then Optimus Prime comes out from the bottom, you know, or whatever, takes a plane out of the sky, and well, I guess Optimus Prime wouldn't destroy a plane, you know.
Unless it was a bad plane.
Yeah, you're right. He was saving them.
Megatron.
That's
plane.
why he caught it. It's a
at that airport that's right there.
Like that's the most beautiful vantage point of the city, and then there's I think it's called Caw Valley Point. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, that's across. I've seen it on the Google Maps.
Yep, it's the north side of the whatever. Don't go there at night; it's super sketchy. But I've shot 1.5 million time lapses there because it's beautiful. It's the best vantage point of the city.
Can you get to the water?
Yeah, you can get right on the water. You can go in the water if you really want to. I wouldn't recommend it because the Missouri River is disgusting, but you can't get there.
Says that. Yeah, when I first moved here, I was like, "Where's a good bridge we can jump off of?" And everybody has looked at me like I'm crazy.
No, I wouldn't jump off the Missouri.
You don't do you don't jump in the river.
When I was at the news station,
that's not the river you jump in.
No, I mean jump in a river. I don't care what you jump into, but the Missouri River. When I was at the news station, I did just enough stories of dead bodies coming out of the Missouri River that I would never in a million years go in that thing.
Yeah, there's a kayaking guide service out here that does like trips and stuff.
I did a movie called Big Muddy. It was a feature, and the entire Big Muddy is the nickname for the Missouri River. And the entire movie was about these guys on boats going up and down the river. And so we were shooting up and down the river, and then like the whole time in the back of my head, I'm thinking about like the news story of like, this guy killed his girlfriend that was driving, but like her car went left and they both plunged into the river and they're dead now. And then like, we found these random bodies with like 6 bullet holes in the back of them and stuff like that.
So it is or it is not the place to get rid of a body, is what you're saying?
It is because there's so many bodies down there.
But
that
it's expected?
It is expected. So it's like that hiding in plain sight type deal. That like...
That ain't my body.
No, yeah.
I didn't put that
That's somebody
there.
else's body. Yeah. I put a body in there. You're not going to find it.
It's not mine.
Yeah, it's not mine. Dude, I have, we'll have to talk about this off camera because I don't want anybody to steal it. I have a feature film idea that is the biggest mental mindfuck in the world about a murder.
Okay.
And like, I can't spoil it.
Don't do it.
I actually do want to make this one. But like, we'll use the incentive on it. Perfect.
But that's, okay, the incentive, I want to learn more about, because why come here besides financially? To Kansas City. Pitch Kansas City, man. I'm still new because I've been traveling for the past 2 years.
Well, I mean, I've been traveling too. Like,
okay, gotcha. Yeah.
So I mean, we're kind of in the same boat because like I live in Kansas City. I've been here for a while. My whole career, I've been based here. But like, I don't really know anybody. I'm not really in tune with the Kansas City film community as a whole. Like anybody that's watching this or anybody you talk to, like a lot of people who are prominent people in Kansas City go, who? And like, it's just like I'm not really that in tune. So like, I might be the last person to ask about why shooting in Kansas City because, again, I see it from a business side that like. You can shoot anything anywhere. Like if someone has the money and they need a movie to specifically take place in Paris, you can shoot that anywhere.
Sure, until you need a shot of the Eiffel Tower.
Right, and then you send a skeleton crew and then you get the shot and you're done. So like, to me, like, what I've heard, you shoot in Kansas City because it's in the middle of the country. It's the cost of living here is cheaper, just as you said. Some people like to use the argument that crews are cheaper here, which I think is the dumbest argument in the world to use because we all should get paid equally regardless. Like you shouldn't move to a place just because you think you can underpay people. Like that's weird to me. Like that was in a pitch document that I saw. I was like, they're like crews are cheaper here, and I'm like, that's fucking weird, but okay. That's what the draw is. Like we have the farmland, we have cities. Like Parkville looks completely different than Raytown. Like there are different locations that are around here. But that's also everywhere. Like I was shooting the pickup shots for the Netflix thing, and they wanted it to look like summer. It was November. All the leaves had fallen off the trees. Like you can't make it look like summer.
Yeah.
Go shoot that in the South. No one's gonna know. Like,
oh sure.
Like you shoot in any project, you shoot your principal photography wherever you get the best business, deal, and then you get all like your establishing and all that kind of stuff on location with a skeleton crew. And like
second unit
right, a second unit type deal. Like it doesn't make sense from a financial standpoint to not take advantage of a film incentive. So like when Arkansas is as close as it is and Nebraska, there's a feature going on up there right now that also has, I don't know what the incentive is, but there's some sort of incentive in Nebraska. Like why would they come here and not get an incentive? Like when you have this argument I give with people all the time is that they talk about how great the crews are. And like, we're all willing to work and, blah, 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 we can pull it off. I'm not doubting the crews of Kansas City can pull it off. But when someone's got a check for $100 million that they need to cash, do you think they're going to hire you, the most artistic and amazing person in the world that has zero experience, zero proof that they can pull off completing a $100 million project? Or are they going to give it to the guy from LA that like might be a 6 out of 10 when it comes to like the creative side, but he's got 100 films that he's done.
He knows people. It's a name thing.
Exactly.
It's a who you know.
Right. Like, it's. I would love it for it to be as simple as like we get an incentive in Kansas City, and Kansas City people are going to be working all the time. But in reality, shoots are going to come in here with an incentive from LA with people that are very seasoned, very established, and the Kansas City crews, like ACs are going to be PAs, ops are going to be ACs.
Yeah, and that happens. When I lived in LA and I was flown all over the places, we would go to Detroit, we go to Chicago, we go to Atlanta, Houston, Dallas, and New Orleans for sure. Like there was so much. I was shooting post Katrina. And there's like a bunch of crews that had like this, film incentive came in through, and there was crew people working because a lot of money was getting poured into like help the state rejuvenate. Right. And so when some Yakos come in from LA, it's sort of like, we're locals here. This is sort of like, they could have hired us. Kind of sucks because it's the same thing. Like ACs are now PAs. Right. Cam ops are now ACs or something like that. And it's true that does happen, and it's very weird because I think in my experience, it's production companies and people that hire, like production managers and producers and things like that, they want to have people that they trust, not people that they haven't met or worked with before. Right. And when those people hiring are all from one spot, they're going to pull those people and take them with them. Right. That's all it is. No, it's nothing against the city, I don't think.
No. It's not against the city at all. But like, so there, again, this is just my opinion, but people are taking the approach of like, oh, if we get the incentive, then all of Kansas City is going to work. It's like, yeah, you might work, but not in the way that you think. But it should be a two-step process. Like we should be pitching to the city, hey, if you get the incentive, things like Ozark, the thing with Sylvester Stallone that ended up shooting in Tulsa or whatever it was, or shooting in Georgia being called Tulsa, whatever. The state missed out on this much money, right? This is the financial aspect of it because that's what the state cares about. They don't care about like, oh, man, make Lucas a cinematographer, get him a job. They don't give a fuck about people like me. So like it's a two-step process. So like use the out-of-towners to establish the film market and to get the incentive. Have the Kansas City crews take the job dropbacks to get the credit so that they can level up. And then at the same time, the features that are being shot by Kansas City crews can use the incentive to elevate their projects. And then next thing you know, instead of having, Lucas, who has never shot a $100 million movie, all of a sudden I have a resume of $50 million movies, $10 million movies, whatever, and then they want to hire somebody to shoot this mega movie, and then they can use the crews now. So it's like a two-step process. Like we got to get the incentive here, let out-of-towners take the work because that's what happened in Atlanta. Like LA jumped to Atlanta. Atlanta blew up, and then the locals got the trickle down, and then those people took advantage of it and exploded as well, and that's why Atlanta got massive. So that's what Kansas City should do. We should work what the political people want to talk about, which is only money. Like I've shot all these political videos for all of these people. They don't give a shit about anything outside of money. They don't care about feelings. They don't care about family-owned businesses.
It's just tourism and commerce.
Exactly. They just want the money because the state is so far in debt that they need the money. They don't care how it is.
Is St. Louis bigger than Kansas City?
I think technically, like from a production standpoint, St. Louis is massive. I work in St. Louis all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know about like
population.
I don't know about population size.
No, I don't know. When I moved here, the mayor was like, "We've hit 500,000 people," and I was like, "What?"
So Kansas City is weird because there's Kansas City, which is in Missouri, but like the Kansas City area also includes like Overland Park, Leawood. Like there's all these Kansas cities, and even Missouri cities that like are more relevant, or not more relevant, but like they're part of it. So like the Kansas City metro area is like 2 million people. I think that's a fake number. It's probably not that, but I
wonder. I mean,
but Kansas City itself is, I think,
if you're just counting Kansas City, Missouri, was that Jackson County?
Right, like it's not that much. And then St. Louis, I don't think has that same problem. So St. Louis very well could be bigger. But from a production scene, St. Louis used to be a massive reality hub. There's a couple studios there that just cornered the market, shot a shit ton of content.
I did 3 shows there before when I lived in LA.
Yeah. And guess what happened? Atlanta hit their incentive and everything left.
Yeah.
It's just the business side of it. It's just how it works. But what would you see, to kind of round this out and keep going, but what would you love to see, now you've been here for a couple years, I know you travel a lot, but what would you love to see in the Kansas City film market specifically?
Let's make that dream film that needs to be shot here. Like, let's make it, and then take it to a festival circuit, whatever, but get eyes on it so other people go, holy crap, I want to make that. Going back to Breaking Bad, because I've been watching Breaking Bad recently. Have you seen Breaking Bad?
Yeah.
Okay, obviously, like 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm critiquing it, because before it was like, the story was slow, I want to take a look, okay, this is cool, whatever. It's all handheld. Looks like it's shot on freaking DV. It's not good.
No.
It's like it's almost low budge. It's super easy.
I watched
You're
the
like,
first season and I
shoot
stopped
this
watching because
whole
it sucked.
Oh, really? I could shoot this whole thing. It's just like, oh, that's awesome. So it was originally supposed to be set in LA, but Film LA was being a pain in the ass or something. But there was no like tax incentives. Albuquerque was way cheaper, and they're like, we'll give you like fat percentage back. I don't know what it was. And they're like, okay, we'll go there.
Yes, please.
We're gonna go to Albuquerque. Like, what were they thinking? Like, I just shot there after we were with you guys in the Midlands.
Yeah, Midlands.
I went to the Southwest. We're gonna
Southwest
call it the
lands.
Southwest still. I don't know. Yeah.
Just add lands to the end.
Yeah.
of
So
all
we go there, and a couple of my friends just wrapped like a holiday special with Netflix there, and I was like, oh, how big is it blowing up? It's blowing up massive out there.
huge.
It's been blowing up. It's like I'm like new to the scene. Like, oh, I didn't know you guys had power. They do.
You guys have the internet here?
I was flipping overalls back and forth. Suspenders, there we go. No, I think, and maybe there were productions before Breaking Bad or something, but I bet that was a massive springboard.
Yeah, it was the jumping point.
To something else. So now, Netflix has studios there, Albuquerque Studios. Similar to, I haven't had any communication with like the film commission here. Is that Film KC?
I mean, I'm assuming so.
Or yeah, I have no
I
idea.
don't know. I mean, I don't know either.
I emailed somebody one time, never got anything back. But like, I got popped in Albuquerque while we were shooting Finding Adventure. This last point we were back there. A couple places I had a permit for the mountain.
Hang on, what does "you got popped" mean?
Oh, got busted by the park rangers.
Okay.
If the cops
When
roll on
someone
you,
tells me I got popped, that means that someone shot at me.
Oh no! Well, popped is like sort of like we got rolled on.
You got
we
in
got
trouble.
like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay,
So it's like, do you have a permit to shoot here? Like, no, we don't. Okay, and then it's like a staring contest. Like,
Well, you gonna
you
leave?
gonna kick us out? Like, I mean, you have to say the word.
There's
like,
8 of us. There's one of you. What's gonna happen?
Is there a way we can,
I'm from the
and
Midlands, sir. You don't want to mess with me.
really me, I was sort of like, well, I put it in there in this guy's corner. I was like, is there a phone number I can call? Instead of just saying, can I talk to you about it? I'm like, let me talk to your boss or something or whatever. And so I talked to his boss, talked to the boss after that. They end up thanking me for choosing the location that we're filming at, and they're going to waive the permit for me. It was an awesome thing. Like, it was great that it worked out. But that showed me that the Film Commission in Albuquerque is still like figuring it out in a way.
Yeah.
They have all the fees down though. They're like, oh, you want to film here? That's going to be this much. That's going to be this much. We just wrapped shooting in Savannah. And so in Georgia itself is like, we'll make it work with you. It's all good. The permit application fee in Savannah is $25. A blanket permit's $100. It's like, great. You can shoot anything you want.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's fantastic. So it's like, great. Just don't get faces because, you know, you get released for that. But you can get a street sign. You can shoot whatever tree you want. You can get a bridge. So if they see you filming, it's like, hey, I have this blanket permit. The city loves me. All good to go. Tybee Island, which is off the coast of Savannah, Georgia, but it's a little, it goes over a bridge or whatever. The application fee, the application is $1,000. They could still say no to that. Then they go through the consideration.
$1,000?
Yeah, just to fill it out. Like,
Is it like a gold island?
It's okay, but I guess the last Baywatch was shot there. And I don't know if that holds.
So Zac Efron has been on that beach, so therefore
I don't know if that holds
$1,000.
it. I mean, but I permitted Will Rogers Beach in LA where they did the original.
Yeah.
And it was like Film LA was like, okay, cool. Here's your fee. This is your waiting process. You got to do whatever. But $1,000 for an application is crazy. If it's rushed, which they would consider 7 days before your first shoot date, it's $2,500 for that. And so I called the Savannah Film Commission back because Tybee has their own. And I was like, hey, Katie, can you tell me about the filming in Tybee? And she starts laughing. She's like, we've told them so many times that their fees are outrageous. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are amazing for this. Like, they're sending me locations. Like, would you want to shoot here at this field? And I'm like, there's not enough trees. I don't know. But who pitches that to me? What film commission is going to pitch things? So if Kansas City did stuff where they were very helpful to people that want to film, that goes back to my original question. Like, if people want to film here, I think they need to be attracted to film here.
Yeah.
Like, with Breaking Bad in Albuquerque, I bet a lot of people watching it for the first time were like, why would you pick the desert to shoot this? But I think it worked well with, like, the content and scenes. I mean,
Yeah, they eventually worked it in. I don't think it hit right in the first season, but once because I didn't like the first season at all. I watched the first season when it came out, and I stopped because I was like, this is trash. I don't want to watch this. But then once it came out on streaming, I went back and I watched all of it. I was like, oh, this first season still sucks. But 2 on, they figured it out.
I'm in 2 right now. I'm halfway through 2.
Yeah.
Like, Skylar started smoking, and I'm sort of like,
okay, I won't ruin it.
We really got to build this.
New Mexico kind of becomes a character in a little bit.
Well, I've seen the whole show.
Oh,
I've seen the whole thing.
Oh, well then.
I'm just bored, man.
They all die, like it's just whole thing.
Yeah.
Thanos comes out, snaps them, they're all dead. It's this whole thing.
I didn't watch the same season as that.
That's season 8, I think.
Yeah, I don't know how it goes. But I think we need to make Kansas City attractive.
Yeah.
I think that would be awesome if we can make it attractive and make it worth coming here to film something. Because it's a big city. It's a metropolitan city with 500,000 people in this area. Every time I drive around, I can go downtown. You could park on Main Street in downtown. That is insane. There's skyscrapers around you. You can park there. That's nuts. We could move a whole... when I was shooting with History Channel, I was in Oklahoma. I was with Eric Warren. Shout out to Eric. Love you, buddy.
You know the name? I'll give you a shout out too, even though I don't know you. But
he's great. Bring him.
Parker vouches. We'll get you on.
He's a sweet man. He was saying that he was doing a commercial for like, I don't know if it was like a Hostess commercial or something, or like some sort of product in downtown, and they were like rappelling from like buildings, like the actors were like big shit.
Yeah.
We could easily do Mission Impossible here.
Well, yeah, Tom Cruise, like, let's go.
There's
a Church of Scientology building right downtown.
Yeah,
like,
it's not even that busy here. That's the thing. Like,
No.
there's so many. Traffic's a cinch. Took me 20 minutes to get here. It'll take me 15 minutes to get home. I bet there's less people.
Yeah, no, that is a big thing when you ask me about draws of Kansas City. Is that you can get anywhere within 30 minutes.
The ease is insane.
30 minutes, you can be literally anywhere in the city. You could be wherever you want to go. Your location changes every 5 minutes. So no, the ease of shooting here is definitely a draw here. It's like I've been in places where you sit in traffic for hours and it sucks, and you lose out on your day. Or you have to extend a shoot a couple of days. Like when we were shooting in Atlantic City, the traffic between Philly and Atlantic City was absurd. So we had to build in all this extra time just in case someone didn't show up.
Yeah,
so
the congestion out there is
right. So then we add like 2 days to the shoot because you're like, well, fuck, we can't, we can't rely on getting all of this in a day that you should be able to do because one person gets in a standstill and the whole shoot's derailed.
Yeah.
So we had to extend it out for a couple of days, which is fine. Like it all worked out. Like we had what we needed for it, but it's just the traffic here. Like we were, Brittany's aunt or whatever was in town, and we're like, or no, it was when Draz and Fatima came into town. We have friends who live in New Jersey, and they came into town, and we were driving around.
Look at all the space on the roads out
right,
here.
I was like, oh, we're hitting traffic, and they're like, this is not like this is traffic, and like
Take the
it's like I-35
turnpike.
at like 4 o'clock. Like it's it's busy, but like the grand scheme of things, it's not. They taught me they said I don't drive aggressive enough. Because I was like patiently waiting for people like to get over. Like I got my turn signal. I'm not in a rush.
I use my horn here, and my brother-in-law was saying,
use your horn here.
Use your horn. Yeah.
I've had people flash guns at me for using my horn.
He's like, you can't use your horn here because people think you're an asshole. And
Yeah.
I was like, well, I want them to move, so I am being an asshole.
Well, I am in this instance. Yes, I am an asshole.
Move your asshole car. I don't give a
that's so
shit,
funny.
But no, the ease of this place is just so, and it's cheap. It's affordable. There's just a lot of red clothing everywhere. The buildings are.
It's the best place to make a movie about the Chiefs.
It's fine. Yeah, I mean, Jesus, like you can easily do that. Get the Chiefs involved with something.
Yeah, all the Chiefs are doing stuff all the time. What do you think of the crew in Kansas City?
I don't know them yet. I know you guys. I know Eric. I know Jeff Miller. Shout out to Jeff. I know. I worked with Curtis. That was a year ago, over a year ago, I think.
Yeah, so I mean, we're in the same boat because we travel.
We
so
barely.
much that, like,
It's tough to connect. I would want to go to like a mixer.
That's part of the reason I'm going on the 21st. Is I'm hoping to meet people because
And that's with Mama.
I think so. I believe so.
Mama.
We should get clarification on that too, and they should.
Missouri of Modern Art.
They should incorporate Midlands in their name.
Dude, throw the Midlands.
Like add another like ML Mama.
I think if we made something that shows like these dope ass locations and whatever kind of story is mingled in there, and it's a short whatever, and it's called the Midlands. People are like, fuck, that was cool.
Like, where is that?
All those spots.
Is that in
I want to
Europe?
go to those spots because I bet we all have like competing B-roll locate. Since moving, there's so many different ones over by me. It's stupid.
Yeah.
I'm like, look at that shot. Look at that
Like,
shot.
oh, look, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. Yeah.
I need sticks that are 9 feet tall, but I can get it.
Yeah.
Or just get a drone. Or just fly the, I'll fly the Mavic.
I'll fly a drone at 11 feet. Hey, man, whatever it takes to get
And like a little movement.
Okay. This is really awkward because we work in the film industry and I couldn't even gauge when
Technical
my battery was gonna
difficulties.
die. Yeah, we had a power surge here and it fried my camera.
The snowpocalypse.
Yeah, snowpocalypse. Bundle up, kids. But yeah, back to what we were talking about. We were talking about like where are the showrunners, where are the jobs.
I think there should be execs that have like the creative control because right now, as far as I've witnessed on the Kansas City production crew page, is exactly that, production crew. It's crew that is the labor, that is the artists, that are the gearheads, all doing stuff, which is awesome because I'm one of them also. Like I'm a producer, but I also get hired. I did get hired on a freelance basis. So it's the same thing. My gear was here sometimes.
Yeah, you have a giant resume as an op.
No, for sure. I mean, I've had, I don't know, like a variety of different shows and people, production companies that have hired me on a freelance basis because I was in those areas that had that opportunity to do so. It's not here right now until other production companies come here and use this as a location.
Yeah.
But the production companies that are here could use it, and maybe it's happening and I just don't know. I'm not in that scene or something.
Yeah.
You and I have been elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean,
so maybe we're missing out on stuff. Maybe we're not in that clique.
Yeah, that could be part of it. I mean, off the top of my head, there's one show that consistently shoots in Kansas City. Bargain Mansions is the only show that I can think of that is consistently here.
That's the Tamara Day one.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
It's the only one that I can think of. And like,
I shot for the director that shot that pilot. And
really?
When I moved here, he was like, oh, I did the Tamara Day show. I was like, oh, no kidding.
Huh.
He's like, I did the pilot. I was like, okay, well, I mean, you know, you're here now and I'm over here. So it's like, how much will that work? And it didn't. So I don't know.
And here we are.
But I bet that show, are they locals or did they bring people in?
I mean, I've never worked on it, so I don't know 100%, but I think it's locals. I mean, all the people I talk to, you know, are like, you know, like, oh, hit this person on, they got Bargain Mansions, they're locals. Like, you know, so I think it's a majority local show.
Okay.
I don't know, like, where the company's based out of, but the crew itself is. But
It's home renovation?
Yeah.
See, that could be work for months.
Well, right, exactly.
That's
well,
awesome.
and that's what, like, so it's not sexy to be a showrunner, right? Like, no one graduates film school and goes, I want to be a showrunner. They want to be a director. They want to be a cinematographer. They want to be an executive producer. They want to do these, in general.
Yeah.
So, like,
it's all the money, though.
It's 100% the money. But, like, so there's, I won't say names and stuff like that because I don't want to piss anybody off, but there's a series of jobs that I applied for that'll be taking advantage of the film incentive, hopefully, in Kansas City. And in my interview, I was asked, hey, we're looking for a showrunner. This is scripted, but we're looking for a showrunner, line producer. Mm-hmm. Who do you have to recommend? And I was like, well, I can give you a million people that don't live in Kansas City, but they wanted someone in Kansas City because they need Kansas City addresses for the incentive. And I literally came up blank. Like I
You're
froze.
Like me.
I was like,
You
yeah,
should have said yourself.
If you want to pay me, but like really though, like it's just a line producer here, like for commercials, sure, but like they're looking for people that have long form, scripted, even unscripted, like, you know, because you can use stuff on both of them to make it work. Like if you, I've only worked in the unscripted space, but you have all experience doing those things, you could probably figure it out, you know, how to do it for a feature film.
Yeah.
So like, we don't have, again, just back to my infrastructure thing, we don't have the infrastructure to pull this stuff off. Like, I can't think of a company in Kansas City that could go, hey, we're going to make this reality TV show or scripted TV show. We are going to do everything in Kansas City, and then we're going to sell to Netflix. I can't think of a singular entity within Kansas City that could pull that off.
That's a bummer.
The ones that could.
I would love that.
I would love that, too. I mean, it would be great because I don't have to travel as much.
I think people, see, let's have a mixer. People come together, say, let's just do that. Because if you do that, and it works, and now other companies want to come to Kansas City to take advantage of that, then everybody keeps working, and it fucking happens like Albuquerque, fucking happens like Atlanta.
Yeah, it's all the domino effect. I mean, once the first domino falls, everything else just skyrockets. And the same thing with careers. Like the company that sells the first thing, like once you get that created by credit or the executive producer credit, you're gold. You can walk to any studio.
Yeah, you have a show.
You want to,
I
and
created
you go,
a show that got distributed, and
and they go, okay, cool. What do you want to do now? And like they trust you. And again, it goes back to who am I going to trust with my $100 million? Am I going to trust this random person with no experience, or this guy that I know that yes sucks, but like he makes his money.
Sure.
So it's just it's like the chicken before the egg. You're like, which one came first? It's like, well, we need the infrastructure to pull this off, but we also like need the stuff to come to get the infrastructure
100%.
to pull it off. So it's like, which one goes first? Back and forth. I'm just hoping that somebody gets like stupid lucky and just makes like the dopest film of all time, and someone goes, yeah, we're gonna do that in Kansas City all the time.
Yeah.
Because that'd be great. I would love to not travel. I was out of town in 22 now? 21, I was out of town for almost 200 days.
Mm.
Like, I don't have kids, so it's not as bad, but like...
2021. Yeah, like 2020. I moved here 2020, and I was doing a lot of Forged in Fire on the road, and then 2021 was Forged in Fire up until June. I got hired by Hearst, and then I hit the road. So I was gone a lot, too.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I would love to not have to do that. I mean, I would love... So like my dream scenario, I love feature docs, but I also like... I would love to get on a TV series, and I've shot a couple of things for that to get me there. Nothing crazy, but like... I would love that I could travel, because I do love to travel. I would love to travel on a feature doc, and then I would love like a cycle of traveling and doing that, and then coming to Kansas City to work on a series, and then we start. You know what I mean? Like that would be the dream to me, that I could be home working in a studio, on location, whatever.
Come home every night.
For a TV series, come home every night, play with my dogs, see Brittany, all that kind of stuff. Well, Brittany works with me, so I probably see her all the time anyways. But like, it'd be nice to do that, and then like, oh, okay, cool. I want to go somewhere super fucking dope, so let me be on for 3 months as I do this documentary. Like that's the dream to me of like where I want to get to. And I can do that with the docs now. It's the other part of it that is lacking. And part of that is like no one from Atlanta is going to go, hey, like this guy's got a reel and all these credits and stuff like, because I have stuff on Hulu and Netflix and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but you don't need that. You're creative and you're the crew at the same time. So
I'm just saying, like,
you just need somebody who can like buy it from you.
Basically give me a chance. Like,
so when I work with Jeff, do you know Jeff Miller?
Yeah. Jeff Miller actually was like 5 minutes up the road.
He's fucking like really close. We went to Parkville Coffee one time.
Yeah. Parkville Coffee's like right there.
Yeah, it's fucking right. We worked together on the dating show that was shot out here. They have billboards right now that we did. One of the guys who was a dater on the dating show, he took a selfie that showed him on the billboard. And he like sent it over to the producer.
It's actually so cool.
And it's super cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it's like, part of me is like, oh, it's digital billboards. It's kind of like not authentic, but it's still pretty rad. A digital billboard is pretty tight. So a digital billboard of a show that we made that I came up with a title for. I was like driving on I-29. No, not the other one. No, yeah, 29. Yeah. What's the bridge with all the white posts that go up?
The bridge?
There's like 9 bridges.
Yeah, I don't know the name. I'm the worst Kansas Citian in the world. I don't know the names of any of this.
So one of them, you know the one. And I saw the billboard for Local Love, and I was like, fuck off, man. That's so rad. Like, I mean, in LA, like, you'd see a bunch of posters, whatever, but, like, I never had the hand in coming up with a title for a show, like, having a big hand in the creative. Like, they came up with all the big creative. By they, it's like the showrunners, the supervisors, co-EPs, that kind of shit. Yeah. As a producer, I was like, sweet, I'm going to write the title of this challenge 17 different ways. They pick one, I go, I came up with this.
Like, oh,
I fucking didn't do shit. You know what I mean? Like, they did everything else, and I was like the labor that sort of pushed the words along.
Yeah. I mean, the title's important, though.
This one popping up at Kansas City had more merit to me. I was sort of like, holy crap. Like, you know, a couple years ago came here, thought it was over. My daughter's born. What am I going to do? I might be a garbage man. And now there's a show. And I got interviewed by KNBC about it. I was like, this is stupid. That's going to happen again and again because Hearst is trying to make more shows in this area. So it's like, let's just hire more locals, make it bigger. Yeah. And if it has to be, you know, some sort of reality format or food format or travel series or something, I think it's a start. I don't know anything about the film industry. I say TV and there's unscripted and then there's scripted and then film, you know. And I just don't know the politics of it all. I know it's slow. Yeah. Agonizingly slow. I don't know. People get excited about shooting like 4 pages in a day. And I'm like, dude, we shot 6 locations. Shit, what did we do in fucking Kentucky? Like, holy crap, man.
We did all that without an AC and partially without an audio op.
We were running with our shoes
and then
untied,
we were down.
man.
Nick wasn't there. I know that Gabe was there, and Gabe was awesome. You really were, but we didn't have Nick. So like, who we also found out was the nickname of Gabe, too. But like, anyway, so like,
Yeah, Gabe was also named Nick.
I mean, I think that everybody
That was
like
nuts.
a lot of people that shoot just scripted.
Yeah.
Like, kind of have, like, a bad, like, you shoot reality, you shoot unscripted. I think everyone should have to shoot
And that's
reality and
fun.
unscripted.
Yeah, and that would...
Because, one, you learn a shit ton. Two, I personally think that the best of every position across the board, like, of all time within the industry, is in the unscripted side. Because you see these beautiful...
It's a different pacing of stuff, yeah.
It's a different pacing, but, like, when you see these beautiful images of these movies that cost all this money, that took a massive team, a massive amount of money, and a massive amount of planning. But when you watch a reality show and there's like just the beautiful shot and the perfectly like staged moment by the producers and like you timed it right with the light and you find out the crew was 3 people, it's like that is just...
The camera
like,
does a lot of work, man.
The camera does a lot of work.
Keep
but
that
like,
shit in focus, you're good to go.
I mean, really though, like, I'm going to get slack for saying that and whatnot, but like, you know, learning how to shoot and not having a second to think about it. Like, I mean, I've been on the commercials and you sit there, you're like, do you want a 50? Do you want an 85? Like, what are we doing here? But in reality, you got one shot to get it. So, like, you get it. And, like, when you, at least for me, when you test yourself and you don't give yourself a choice to fail, and, like, we're getting the shot, we have to, I'm better. Like, if I overthink things, I get in post and the shot's like, oh, this is horrible. When I shoot reality and stuff, I'm like, you just have to be so quick and not second guess anything. You're like, holy shit, like, this is some of my best work. Yeah. And it took one bounce card and, you know, the right time of day.
Yeah, I've had a PA wearing a white shirt just stand nearby as I bounce. 100%.
My belly.
Just stand right there. You're good.
So funny.
Or find a white van. There's always one of those.
Yeah, like I one in the driveway.
Yeah.
It's what it's perfect for. All right, last question for you, and then we'll get this off, and hopefully the call sheet has been emailed to us. Future of Kansas City. What do you see it, realistically? 5 years.
5 years as far as the film industry goes?
Yeah, just here in Kansas City. What do you think it's going to look like?
I think I'll be working at the office by then because we're still under pandemic procedures and working from home. So hopefully I'll be like having a selfie with like Brian Busby maybe and kicking it in the green screen.
Yeah, we saw guys.
Something, a little bit of that. I'd love it for the ability to have like, if we can have the Super Bowl here, any kind of other, you know, big sports events that are happening, that's going to be enough draw on the commerce and tourism front. If that could draw somebody to come film here for something, like there was a rodeo thing happening here maybe 2 or 3 months ago.
I don't know what that is.
A few of my friends were out here shooting it for like some, I don't know if it production company it was, but if we can get a feature here, if we can get our own reality series here that's like set in Kansas City, not, you know, Queer Eye stopped in Kansas City and then they went to somewhere else after
everything
that,
is
you know what I
based
mean?
here.
Something that makes Kansas City the focal point of it, and then it just happens to be the people that live there at the same time. I think that will domino effect and mushroom into something else. Yeah. The thing with home renovation shows, it is a long-running thing. If they're doing, if they're even doing like 4 or 5 flips or whatever, that's gonna keep them busy. Yeah. Quite a bit. There's always something, updates to shoot and stuff like that.
Oh, let's go walk in and put a nail in the board.
No, 100%. Yeah, we can go.
We both done it.
Yeah, it's all that shit. Like I had to film tile and stairs being made. You're just like, nobody cares. They care about beauties.
Yeah,
you know,
they want the end result.
Yeah, but if we can get a long form series here where Kansas City is the focal point and just happens to be other people here, like some sort of story. Yeah. I think it'll domino effect. Yeah. I think, honestly, we need to make it ourselves.
I got ideas.
We're not going to get. I can't say we're not going to do it. I don't know how to convince a production company, but hey, come out here and do this. They're going to go, why? Yeah. When Atlanta has this, Albuquerque has that, and you can shoot anything in a studio. Yeah. Why go on location when we can just get B-roll from Getty or somebody else to shoot it? Yeah. We'll call Lucas and do pickups of B-roll or something.
Really, that's what it was. Yeah. Like, really.
Yeah, I think if we do something and people go, holy crap, we could have done this because they did it for this, and they're Midlanders.
Yeah. They're drinking the Missouri River water and can pull that off.
Oh,
Imagine
yeah.
what we could do.
Corn moonshiners, is that a thing out here?
I mean, if it's not, it should be. I cannot neither confirm or deny that moonshine has been made in the general area.
I think it takes corn, right?
I have no idea. I don't really drink, so I don't know any of these things.
Totally.
Is it corn? Mm-hmm. Hey, apparently it's corn, so I would work that out.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you on that. I think that it's just a domino effect. It's a little bit of luck, 90% luck, 10% skill, in my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. Maybe a little different, but
I think the people that hate unscripted, though, that are like, oh, I want to do passion products and I only want to do this kind of stuff, they got their heads in the sand. They are slow to it. Like they're too close-minded.
100%. I mean, in some it's a rate.
Or they have a concrete job on the side or something.
Yeah, something crazy.
I have no idea.
Yeah, I have this talk with people all the time because they're like, well, the rates are trash. And I'm like, well, okay, like you can...
Rates are great. We make more than fucking anybody, dude.
Well, not to divulge numbers or anything like that, but so I've done the jobs where you get paid a shit ton of money to work the commercial, but you're on it for 3 weeks, but you're getting half rates on these days and all that shit. And then you counter that with but then you don't work for another 2 months, right? On that type of job. Well,
that's life, though. That's not about the gig and the rate.
Well, that is life, but then you get on a reality show that your day rate's lower, but you're also longer, and the job is less strenuous. Yeah. I have more physically demanding on unscripted, but once you get to scripted, it's more mentally demanding. And I would personally rather be in the middle of the jungle with a camera on my shoulder, tired as hell, than sitting there at a computer screen making shot lists and storyboards and stuff like that. So it's a relative thing. Well, I don't want to do that. I want to make commercials that make a lot of money. It's but you can also make a shit ton of money doing reality and docs. There's a shit ton of money in it, and as long as you're, hey, you're gonna do some stuff that's kind of weird, but if you can do it, then you're gonna be successful.
Yeah, it's even when I opt and I was getting 500 a day or something, and it was for 4 weeks.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah,
I have friends that are teachers, and they were it's fucked up.
Yeah. It is fucked up. Well, and
they should be getting that rate.
Well, yeah, it's if you want, that's a completely different. I have that discussion all the time because I've done jobs that as an operate, the standard operate's $850 now. DP rates up to
that's insane.
It is insane.
No offense to operators, but holy
inflation.
crap.
No, it's $850, and then a DP's between $1,500 and $2,000 a day is the standard.
On what though? Not reality.
Yes.
Not reality.
I mean, I can show you my bank statements if you really want to. My memos.
I want to see the production company email that says this is the rate. I want to see it from the PM directly.
I want to know.
Straight face.
Yeah, I mean, that's the rates now. And again, I would rather hold a camera on my shoulder than stare at a computer screen. My commercial rate is not that much higher than
cameras are getting smaller and shit. Rates are getting bigger. That makes no sense.
The world.
The opposite.
I was about to say we need some beefcakes out there if you're gonna make that money.
Good God.
Yeah, what a time to be alive, right?
No, for real. But then it's really weird. It's I'm not gonna. And I've heard people talk I don't get out of bed for less than X amount a day. I
laugh at those people.
And I'm just well, cool. I'm not calling you.
Yeah, some money is.
That's a lot of people not to call you. Also,
yeah, all the young people I talk to. Some money is better than no money. There's a point where you're nah, man, you're screwing me over. That's not gonna happen. Actually, I had one of those last week happen. I laughed on the phone. But if someone comes in 80% of your day rate, why would you say no? You're gonna make $0, or you're gonna make 80% of what you wanted to make.
Yeah, you're gonna make some money. You're gonna get a resume item. You're gonna meet some more people.
Yeah, it's a crazy thing, but no, man, I appreciate you coming out here
and doing this. I didn't know if I was talking mad shit on people yet. I can't say fuck you to anybody. I don't know enough people to say fuck.
Well, okay, we'll meet a bunch of people. That way we can tell them to fuck off. Yeah. Or you tell me to fuck off.
There was some. No.
I mean, I can take it.
Fuck you, Brittany.
Yeah, fuck you, Brittany.
She does nothing.
Yeah, you wouldn't be the first person to tell me that. So,
I don't know the beef with the clicks out here yet. Anybody got that call sheet?
No, we don't have the call sheet, but yeah, no, we can wrap this up. No, I appreciate you coming out, man. We'll have to do that meetup, and maybe we have you on again once we meet some more people. Or it'd be really cool if we did a round table. We got a bunch of 10 people together.
No,
10 people.
Be super tight.
10 people, 20 cameras.
No, do the instant 360.
Oh yeah, perfect.
Two of those smash, so it's fully.
All right, book it. Next episode, it's coming. Our call sheet still hasn't come in yet. The call time should be in the next 3 or 4 hours, so we're screwed.
Rolling.